Hey everyone, welcome to our brand new shop in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. As you can see, I have everything unlocked. If you've played the game before, we got a solid $19.5 million. So let's go find ourselves a car to work on. I do have one and only one barn map, so let's go see what we can find. There's one specific car I'd really love to find. Technically two, but we'll see what we can come up with. So if you've never played this game before, first of all, shame on you because this game is amazing. But if you haven't, in the barn, you'll find a couple cars. You'll also find a ton of stacks of junk. Now you can choose to buy this if you want. You can restore it. You can also break it down into parts to upgrade other items. We will get into all that eventually, I'm sure. What I'm doing is I'm looking for a case, because there should be a case in every barn, which might give us a map to another barn. Of course, if we don't find that, we can simply go to the junkyard or the auction. Let's see. I'm not going to spend a ton of time searching all this. Come on. Nope, can't make it too easy for me. There seems to be upsettingly few cars in here, considering... Oh, here we go. What do we got? First, we have a Bolt Reptilia. Clearly a late 60s, early 70s, 1970. Clearly a 1970 Mustang. Which engine do we have? We have the V8 one carb. You can see there's other engine options here. I think it'd be a real... a real delight to put a Cobra Jet 429 in this fake Corvette. Let's see what else we have out here. Really would love to find a case, but if we don't find it, I will not be completely heartbroken. Let's see if we got another car in here. Typically, there's at least two cars in a barn. I've never found less than that I can remember. Nope, there's our case. We're going to take that. And our other car is an FMW Sentinel, clearly a BMW. I'm guessing a 5 Series, maybe a 7. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm not exactly a European car expert. Oh, and here we go. Look at this. We've got ourselves a 2017 Ford Mustang, equipped with the V8 Coyote motor. Incredible that a car that is 5 years old can look like this. So what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to start with this Mustang right here. I would absolutely love to restore a Coyote motor. Obviously for us, money is no option. Money's no object. And that's what I meant to say. It's got the V8 in it. Nah, we'll just stick with the Mustang for now. Let's go home and buy our crate. Let's get our Mustang going. Alright, back at the garage. It should be parked right out here. Look at that beauty. Let's get ourselves a screenshot of this guy. Unfortunately, the button for screenshots is also the button that stops my recording. So, be right back. Hold that thought. Nope. Looks like it is working. Terrific. Alright. Well, first things first, let's move this guy over to the wash and let's get her cleaned up. So you can see how dusty and nasty everything is. You open the door, you can see it's absolutely disgusting in there. We got a ton of missing components. I didn't look at the engine. I probably should have done that. No, the engine's in pretty good shape. Sometimes you'll get these and there's a ton of parts missing, but it appears to not be the case with this one. So let's get her washed up. Oh, look at that. We got a stripe on some of it. We got a different color fender. Alright, let's get that interior done. And back into the garage. Throw her on the lift. Now typically I start by pulling off all of the body parts here, so let's get that going. And then through the wheel here, you can disassemble the interior. We're going to rip all this out. We're going to replace all this. You can see we got a fair number of suspension parts missing, some exhaust, but we'll get to that shortly. Let's finish pulling this guy apart. So now that we got that all pulled apart, you can see that the body itself is not in perfect shape. For that, we have our friendly neighborhood welder. Nope. So for a mere $1,250, this is going to end up looking brand new. While that's happening, let's go restore our body parts. This will end up saving us some money from having to replace these parts. However, lights, headlights, taillights, glass, that cannot be restored. So if you want to do a full restoration, you'll need to replace that. Same thing with interior components. It looks like, get that California plate out of here. We don't want that. What are we? We're not missing much, are we? Looks like we're just missing a rear bumper, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get all this junk out of here. Well, light's not terrible, but we're going for 100% here. Get the seat, steering wheel. Get all this garbage out of here. Alright, jump into our tablet here. Now when you first start the game, you have to do all your buying at this computer right here. But as you unlock things, which you do through here, you can get a tablet, which I recommend making the first thing that you get before you do anything else, because then you just press the T key and everything comes up for you. So some cars have the opportunity to do body tuning, which is just some kind of cooler parts. The DLC cars do not have that. So if we just go to the body, the car that is in your garage is going to be first. Let's get ourselves some new windows, lights, and then let's go ahead, go to the interior store and get ourselves some seats and steering wheel. And of course a license plate. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and get my home state. If anyone would like me to get a plate from their state or country or whatever, they're all in here. Comment down below and I'll see what I can do for you. In the meantime, let's get this interior thrown back together. And then we'll get the exterior put back together. Moment of truth, see if we forgot anything. Of course, just like in real life, there's no bolts holding any body panels on. Everyone knows body panels snap on just like Legos. We do need a rear bumper. Go ahead and buy that real quick. Perfect. Oh, and of course throw our plate on. You can always also do custom plates if you want. When you buy the plate, you just select custom plate. You can type whatever you want in there. Okay, get out your welder. Got it. And headlight and plate. You can now go ahead and check the car status. And when we go over here, the interior and exterior and body should all be at 100%. Now the fun part. Now we get into the nitty gritty. So let's start taking the underhood apart first. I usually start here as far as the mechanical stuff. You can see we're missing some stuff. Got a clip missing. Radiator fans. Cover for the fuse panel. Missing the ABS pump or module or whatever they call it. Missing a battery. Man, we're missing all kinds of stuff here. All right, let's go see what we can fix up. There's not going to be a ton. So body parts you fix here in the middle table. Any other engine parts you fix on the outside, or suspension or what have you. Again, as you can see, you can't restore everything. Perfect. And we're going to go in here, and you can make yourself a shopping list for whatever you need. Obviously, you're missing a clip, radiator, air filter, all these fuses and relays. And let's see what we can get. Let's start with the electronics, which are in their own store. We are going to need an ABS module. We're going to need a battery. And we're going to need 1 relay A, 4 relay Bs, 3 medium fuses, oh, we actually need 3 of those. Fuse box base A. And then we're also going to need a lid for it. Cover, not lid. And then we're going to go to car parts for the rest of the stuff. We're going to get our clip. We're going to get our radiator. Air filter we're going to hold on to for just a minute. We're also going to need a brake master cylinder, which they call a servo in here. And then what else are we going to need? We're going to need radiator fans. I'm guessing this is going to be the one. I may be wrong. If we are, not a big deal. Let's get our air filter. So there's a tune-up shop where you can get some performance parts. They add some horsepower to your vehicle. Of course, we want as much horsepower as possible. And let's throw some of the stuff back in here. All right, so here's our battery, brake servo. Now, when the part is in ghost form here, you can just go ahead and press X and it'll add it to the shopping list for you. So we're going to add the few things we missed. Put our performance air filter in there. Cover, we now have all of our clips. Hopefully we had all the fuses and relays in here. We can slap the lid on, buy our few missing components, and then move on to the underside of the vehicle. Oops. Oh, see? I did not buy enough of these relays. Go ahead and buy that missing relay. All right, what else are we missing? We got the air filter, so let's go over to car parts. Normally you'd get the ECU there, but we're going to get a performance one out of the performance shop. Again, need as much horsepower as possible. So there's 3 different stages of ECU. There's 2 different types of ECU. Obviously we have an A. So we're going to get that $10,000 stage 3. And let's throw the rest of this together. Oh, forgot the radiator. Oh, washer fluid tank. I missed you. Let's see. Oh, I got the wrong fans too. So you see, if I try to install this, we don't have the fan. That is because I bought the wrong ones. We want this one. Considering that we have just shy of $20 million. I am not terribly concerned. Let's get our washer fluid tank. And that'll do it for under the hood for now. Let's head underneath. Get the fuel tank, the exhaust done. Yeah, we got a lot of missing parts here. So let's get this exhaust going. Exhaust is also not able to be repaired. Hit the install button so we can add these to our list. Oh, and we're missing the fuel pump. All right. So first things first, fuel tank. We get right here. Not sure how I added two, but whatever. And everything else we're going to be able to get tuned versions of. Get our two mufflers, get our fuel pump, two catalytic converters. Probably the cheapest catalytic converters I've ever seen. And even though there's only one, we need two middle mufflers. So I'll throw this in. Now these front exhaust pipe. Wait, did I buy these? Yeah, I sure did not. These front exhaust pipes we can't put on right now because it will not allow us to remove the motor if we do that. So we will come back to those, considering I didn't buy them anyway. I'm going to go ahead and add this drive shaft to our shopping list right away. Fuel tank. Did I seriously buy two fuel tanks? No, that's right. The one was bad. You cannot repair a fuel tank. All right. Let's sell all this garbage. Let's hang on to that stuff for now. Let's go ahead and get those front exhaust pipes right away so we have them on our person. I'm going to go ahead and pull the transmission out because, again, if you want to pull the motor, you have to have the transmission and the exhaust disconnected. When you see these like this that are orange, they are rusted in. You can't take them out, so you got to give them a quick spray of WD-40, which is called something different in this game to prevent copyrights. It's called DWO4. Well done. As someone who lives in Wisconsin, I can tell you it doesn't quite work that way, but whatever. And let's start taking apart our suspension. Let's start back here. So I always start by installing parts so I can select what I'm missing. Sometimes I can do this straight from memory. Sometimes I can't. I think I just added a whole bunch of shocks there. Alright, let's start ripping this apart and see what we can do. Alright, a couple rusted nuts. Alright, there's one whole side done. Let's get the second side ripped apart. Oh, geez. Just click around like a crazy person. Of course, if you do work on cars for a living, you will realize that this is not completely accurate, but I think it's close enough. I kind of wish you could do work on the rear differentials or the transmissions. Unfortunately, you can't. Alright, there's that. Let's start pulling this front end apart. All kinds of stuff missing up here. Of course, the Mustang also doesn't have lug studs, but being that this is a European company, I believe they're Polish, but I'm not positive about that. They have every vehicle with lug studs. Not a big deal. And our one and only wheel. You'll notice I tend to jump around with what I'm taking off on the car just to prevent the brief load time as a part removes before you can take off the next part. It's a result of being a flat rate technician for most of my life. You never stop working. Alright, there's all our suspension. Let's go get this all fixed up. In fact, let's take that wheel apart. Tire balancer and tire machine are right over here. You also have your strut tool, whatever you want to call it. Separate those. You cannot repair any of the strut components. We'll have to replace them. But in an effort to make sure I get everything, I always do that. This gearbox we're going to replace. It's worth mentioning that every vehicle in this game is technically a manual transmission. They all have clutches. No torque converters here. And then just to show you guys a couple other things, there is a little warehouse over here where you can store some extra components. I don't usually use it. There's also a brake lathe over here, so you can sometimes cut your brake rotors. I'll show you that real quick. But there are performance brake rotors, so we're going to end up replacing all these. So let's see what needs to get replaced. You know what, I hate to do this, but just for the sake of clearing everything up, we're going to sell those. I thought I already sorted these. I guess not. We're missing a caliper, 4 brake discs, 4 sets of pads, sway bar, gearbox, inner tie rod end. Of course, we're going to need 2 outers, 2 rear springs, suspension arm, sway bar, I think it's 16 bushings, and then I think it's 8 small bushings. We'll see if I'm right or wrong about that. We need 4 hubs and 2 caps. All right, let's see how bad I messed this all up. Actually, let's start by getting our rotors, which are in the tune-up shop. We're going to go for the carbon ceramic, $600 a piece. All right, we got the exhaust pipe, we got our drive shaft, hub bearings, we need 4, brake caliper, I feel like we only need 1 of those. I think I double clicked that one. Rear shock absorbers, we will never need more than 2. I believe we only need 1 of those. I know we need 2 of these. The nice thing is, while you're working on the car, you can always go back to your tablet and get what you need. We need 2 of those. I think we already got those. 4 sets of brake pads. sway bar. Gearbox we're going to skip for now. That's in a different store. Get our tie rod ends. Rear sway bar. Get our, I'm just going to get 20 of these guys. If only it worked as easy as big and small rubber bushings. Sadly, it does not. We'll get 10 small ones. 2 front links. 2 wheel hubcaps. Oh, and I just realized I did forget something. We need to get 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. All right, and then let's get our gearbox. You go to the custom gearbox section here. These are adjustable. You can add gears, change the gear lengths, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and throw these guys together. In fact, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get rid of all the garbage. Take that, put these together. Let's take this, see if I can fix that rim. No problem. All right, let's start up front here, and let's see if I forgot anything. I'd say there's a good chance I did. I usually do. Oh, for the love of Pete. Sometimes the camera likes to fight you a little bit. Look at that, one corner done. All right, off to the rear. Pretty confident we're missing a part for the springs back there, but we'll find out shortly. Ah, camera got me again. Nope, yes, we're not missing anything for the rear springs. Great. Ah, missing 2 brake calipers. And I'm sure we're missing 2 wheel cylinders as well. Oops. Now we did it. Back to our corner. All right, corner number 3 and fourth and final corner, and then we'll get the wheels handled, and then we'll get to work on that engine. You also may have noticed that these bushings bolt in the completely wrong way. Not sure how you're expected to bolt a bushing in from the body, but, you know, it is a game after all. Ooh, we're missing an axle too. Perfect. Let's get these wheels taken care of. So you can absolutely change the wheels in any way you want. I, however, am going to use the same wheels that come on this car. So in the good old rim shop, you can see there's tons of rims available. You can put whatever rims on you want. You can paint them a different color if you so choose. In this case, though, we are going to go with the 19-inch Mustang rims. Of course, we only need 3 because we were able to repair one. Tire size is right here, 255/40/19. In fact, let me quickly check and make sure these aren't offset front and rear. They are, in fact, offset front and rear. Look at that. So we need 255/40/19. Let's start with that. We're going to actually get race tires. 255/40/19. I hope that's right. My memory is pretty terrible. 255/40/19 and then 275/40/19. 275/40/19. Of course, wider. Oh, I didn't buy those. Wider tires go in the back. For those of you that don't know how tires work, 19 is the rim size. Width, this is actually the width of the traction area of the tire. In this case, it's 275 millimeters. And profile, with this part right here, and then profile right here. This is also known as an aspect ratio. This tells you that this is 40% of the size of the tire tread. So those of you that don't know, now you know. Go over to the tire machine. Let's start throwing these together. Let's get rid of that garbage tire there. So mounting them up happens automatically. You do have to then balance them. Balancing is just a quick little mini game. Sort of like actually balancing a tire, except you're not actually putting weight on it. You can very effectively do this both at the same time. I do have a tendency of moving faster than the game sometimes. That should be it. Let's get this one balanced. And that should be it. Perfect. Let's get these thrown on, and then we'll get that engine pulled out and get to work on that. I do love the way those Mustang rims look. Oh, wait. I didn't even check to make sure I was putting the right one on. Let's see if I screwed that up. Bah! I sure did. Always pay attention to your tire sizes. You want to put the 255 up here. Alright, let's get that engine out, and let's get that guy all finished up. Now, usually you got to drain the oil, but as you can see, there is no oil pan on this engine, therefore no oil in it. You also need to drain out any other fluids on the vehicle. Otherwise, you'll have to pay a fine when you take them apart. I will tell you that I almost never drain the fluids. I just pay the fine. Ain't nobody got time for that. Car engine hoist. Pull that motor out. If only it were that easy. You can see we are now engineless. And we can go put her on the engine stand. And we can start pulling this guy apart. So I'm going to start by rotating it to pull the underside apart first. Again, every one of these is manual, so they're all going to have a clutch, flywheel, pressure plate, throwout bearing. Get that filter off. Rod caps. Bearing caps. As much carbon as you have on these pistons. It does seem as though this car might have come from Wisconsin. I also wish you could just spray some WD-40 on a locked bolt and get it to come off. That is, unfortunately, almost never the case. Alright, we'll spin her back and start pulling apart the top. There was a time when I used to be a Ford technician, well before the Coyote motors. In my day, the Mustangs had the good old 4.6 liter. Great thing is, if you are not a person who regularly works on cars, you want to know what it looks like inside of cars, great opportunity to find out without potentially costing you a whole lot of money when you can't put it back together again. I think if your valve cover bolts are rusted in, you have much bigger problems. So when you get these from the junkyard, a lot of times they'll be missing a ton of parts. Usually what I do is I'll just kind of highlight all the missing parts, put them on my shopping list, order them, put them in, and repeat the process till everything is done. You might get to see some of that since we are missing a fair few parts on this. Right, get our timing chains out of here. Of course, you got to make sure you do everything in the right order, or it will ding at you like that. Get our cam bearing caps off here. Can't imagine a world where there's 6 head bolts, but you know, especially all right in the middle. pistons out of here. Next side. And of course we're going to pull these head bolts off in any old order. Crankshaft and engine blocking. With that, we got everything torn down. Let's go get everything fixed back up. Actually, we shouldn't waste our time with the clutch because we're going to replace that with a performance part. Not to mention, I do not think there's any way you could replace or repair a clutch plate. I guess you could drill out the rivets and put new friction material on, but I think we'd be better off just replacing it. Fuel injectors, throttle body, intake manifold. We're going to get performance parts for all those. Alternator, power steering pump, we have performance parts. Cams and engine heads, we have performance parts. Oddly enough, there's no performance crank or block. Perfect. All right, let's see what has to get replaced. Get a shopping list together here. Coil cover A. All right, everyone, remember coil cover A, because I'm certainly going to forget. All right, let's start with our performance parts. That's an alternator, 4 camshafts. You can see each one of these adds 3% of your total horsepower. So that's a pretty good gift. Pretty good get, not a gift. Clutch plate, pressure plate. Oh, I'll say, where's the flywheel? All right, head B. Looks like we do need 2 of those. I think I might have messed that up. That doesn't seem right, but we'll find out. 8 coils. Look very much like Volkswagen coils. Look almost nothing like Ford coils. Power steering pump. Spark plugs. All right, rest of that's going to be here. 2 cam gears. 2 cam gear Bs. 16 crank bearing caps. Clutch throwout bearing, which they call a release bearing. Crank bearing caps. 1 idler B. I'm pretty sure we're missing a couple of those. We're probably also missing a belt tensioner. Although some of their vehicles don't have belt tensioners. Wait, we need 8 of those. Or do we? No, we only need 1. Hang on, those are repairable. Never mind. By the way, I mean Car Mechanic Simulator, not Ford. Pretty much every vehicle has some form of a belt tensioner. All right, let's try to get some of those missing parts. I'm just going to search Coyote. And I hope it was coil cover A. I told you guys to remember. I know we're missing this engine cover. Oh, we need exhaust manifolds too. I'll get those from the performance shop. Ah, no Coyote oil pan. Bummer. So let's see which one we're going to need. We will get there. And then I'm going to get a tensioner because I'm pretty sure we're going to need one. And then we're going to go here and we're going to get our Coyote exhaust manifolds. Because I know these were missing. And let's sell all our busted old garbage. And let's go put our motor back together. You can see there's still a shadow of it. Well, you know, we need a fuel filter too. That I did forget about as well. I know these look like the dirty old pistons we took out, but the performance ones are that weird black color. I think they're supposed to look like forged pistons, which are kind of a darker steel. Definitely not black, though. Let's go ahead and get this guy flipped and finish up the underside. Alright, V8 oil pan. Fuel filter, we can get the performance version. And let's get our oil pan. Back up to the top. Ah, see, I knew I screwed that up. How about two B's? I knew there should have been an A and a B. Anyway, not such a big deal when you have more money than you know what to do with. It's a really weird manifold right there. But anyway. Cylinder head number 2. Don't think there's any way you'd be able to put that cover on before you put the valve covers on, but what do I know? Always got to forget something. Although I guess I've forgotten quite a lot of somethings already. But what's one more? So close. Oh, here's the tensioner that we bought. Look at that. And that should be that for our beautiful 5-liter Coyote engine. Let's take it off the stand and magically dump it back into our Mustang. Send this guy home. Look at that, magnificent. Let's put this back in the air, throw in the last few components, top off our fluids, and then we go paint it. All right. Oh, wait. Starter. Definitely going to need a starter. That should be it. We should be at, 99. What are we missing? I'm sure it's something silly. Or is it just, wow, we're missing a fuse still. Or I put a garbage fuse in. Oh my gosh. That's why I had an extra fuse. I can't live like this. Well, let's take this guy off. And then there is an inspection mode somewhere. Oh, maybe not. Fuse C. Look at that. There's only one. Let's get a nice new one in there. And now we top off our fluids. All we got to do is remove the caps. You'll know you're full when the bottle leans back. It doesn't necessarily matter where the actual fill level is. As you can see there. Got our coolant. Power steering fluid. Cannot believe this took me 55 minutes. I feel like I usually do this so much faster. And lastly, washer fluid. Now we should be 100% all the way around. You can see right now we're a sell value of $204,000. We made $165,000 profit. Let's go ahead and get this guy painted. So you can, of course, paint it any color that you want. If you go through, you can see the current color compared to the factory color. If you click this one, this will give you all the different factory colors that are available. This one, you can select whatever color you want. Same thing here. You can do some modifications. First of all, let's start by picking a color. I do love the blue, but I really love that green. Yeah, we're going to paint it green. We're also going to see what kind of liveries we have. See, oh, that's awful. Let's not do that. White, black, or none. Let's go with those black stripes all day long. Look at that. That is a mean looking car. Get her painted up. Come on, paint, hurry up. Then we got to take her over to the test path to do an alignment. If only alignments were this easy. There's certainly more than one angle per wheel. But, you know, it is a game. Align the headlights. Just got to wait for that check mark to turn green. Doesn't necessarily matter if you're exactly where they should be. And let's go get her on the dyno and see what we're doing. Ah, poop. Did I seriously screw that up again? What size is that? Where you at, wheel? 275. Darn it. I did it again. It's got to be this one. I know that side's right. Yep, that's exactly what I did. All right, let's fix this. I swear, if y'all weren't looking, I wouldn't have made that mistake. All right, let's try this again. To the dyno. And a quick dyno check. So you can see we started at 437 horsepower, 401 pound-feet of torque, which is actually a ton, all things considered. You don't have to do anything here, just sit and watch. Look at that, 832 horsepower. I'll take it. And then there is a drag, what do you call it? Add-on. I can't think of the name of it. So you can drag race, you can make some money. You can head back here, use this computer, and change up your tuning. You can do your ECU tuning. You can do carb tuning if you have a carburetor. If you have the performance ones, we're not going to mess with that. That's free horsepower, but I don't feel like messing with it right now. All right, let's get back to the shop and let's take this guy to a test track and cruise around a little bit. I don't know how to change the there we go. So we are currently running on an automatic transmission because I don't feel like going through and shifting. You can't damage your car, thankfully, because obviously Mustangs don't necessarily like dirt. I think my traction controller could do a better job of keeping me on the road. Oof. Y'all are going to think I can't drive or something. Well, traction control will definitely make it hard to do donuts. Anyway, there is our first vehicle. Our beautiful green Ford Mustang. Thank you all for watching. I'll try to make the next one less than an hour. We will see you then.